My name is Tanielle Brew Smith, and I am the founder of Brew Wellness Collective. And this is another episode of Prioritize the Pause. Well, today's episode was actually inspired by two things. One, I had a coaching client conversation, and that really brought up a lot for me. But then also during a walk where I get so much clarity, I had so many insights. So there are many mental blocks when it comes to weight loss. And I experienced many of these myself on my own weight loss journey. So we'll just go ahead and jump into this. Number one, you continue to see yourself as the person that you currently are versus the future version of yourself. So, one thing that I did, and I still kind of struggle with this, is I see myself at times as the bigger version of myself. There's nothing wrong with the bigger version of myself. I loved the bigger version of myself. But I knew that I wanted to shift into a just look different. I wanted to have more muscles. I wanted to have a different frame, a different physique. And that wasn't what I was in the past. So, one of the things that I had to do, and I still do this to this day, is to really think about that future version. That version that I am cultivating and sculpting has muscles. She can pick up heavy weights. She's very flexible and she can do different yoga poses that are different from others. But if I had spent all that time thinking of, oh, well, I'm the person who doesn't work out, or I'm the person who stays in the back of the class when I go to a workout class, or I'm the version of myself who doesn't do certain things, then I am not moving towards what I want. Also, we can have our family and friends end up reinforcing that old version of ourselves. So, and they might not be doing this, and sometimes they have bad intentions, but they're not doing this in a mean way, calling you, oh yeah, she's the bigger one, she's chunky, she's that girl, different things like that. If I were you, and what I did is I would stop that right then. I would tell my family member, when you do that, I feel blank. I feel undervalued, or it makes me feel upset, or it makes me feel like I am not going to accomplish my goal. Just say what feeling comes up with that. Now, they can then say, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way, blah, blah, blah. But then letting them know that it makes you feel a certain way. They may or may not change their behavior, but something powerful happens when you express how you feel when a certain thing happens. As a woman, as a Black person, as someone who has worked in the corporate environment, being able to speak my voice and say how I feel is not something that has been encouraged. And for me, I ended up eating to kind of cope with a lot of the things that I left unsaid. So sometimes, if someone is saying certain things to reinforce the old version of yourself, just having a conversation about that to welcome them and introduce them to the new person that you are cultivating and creating. Another mental block is having energy and your mental capacity that's scattered and given away to so many different people. I was on a call with someone and she was literally finishing up work, thinking about things going on with her children, doing stuff with her husband, finishing up her dinner. She had a whole bunch of things happening versus just focusing in on the call in front of her. This call was completely about her goals, about everything else. But the entire call was like this, moving around, moving around, moving around. It's very difficult to accomplish difficult goals or any goals if your energy is everywhere else. Really devote, even if you don't have to have 24 hours a day devoted just to yourself, most people aren't able to do that. I'm not. Having a certain amount of time set aside that's just for you, whether that's in the morning, you are setting yourself up with the drinking of the water, doing some physical activity, just making sure your day is set up, or doing that periodically throughout the day. It's important that you create that space that is just for you, that you are really just figuring out what you need, what you want versus what everyone else wants. It's very easy to make sure that everyone else is okay and put yourself as the last person on the list. But it's vital. It is vital in the change process that all that energy that you're giving out to other people, you save some of that to give back to yourself because you're going to need it. Making change, like losing weight, like changing habits, like getting out of burnout, all that takes energy. And if your energy is so outwardly focused and none is coming in towards yourself, it makes the task more difficult. So, one of the first things on the journey is really saying, when am I going to have time that is just dedicated to me? And really think about that. When is that time that is just mine? About what I need, about what I want, about doing the tasks that I need so that I can be this future version of myself. So that is so very important to really sit down and figure that out when that is going to be for you. It doesn't have to be a large block of time. It could be 5 minutes here, this is my time. 20 minutes here, this is my time. An hour here, this is my time. And it's so important to really carve out that time that's just for you so that you won't forget you in your journey, so that you are not creating a life that is wonderful for everyone else. Everyone else loves this life, but you're miserable. You're unhappy. You're not reaching the goals that you want. You're just uncomfortable in your own skin because you've created experiences that are great for everyone else, but you aren't enjoying it. So taking that time that's just for you is important. During that time, like I said before, you could be setting yourself up for with your food, with your water, exercising, journaling, doing a gratitude journal is so vital, so important. Making appointments for important tasks that are just for you, going to the doctor, seeing a coach, seeing a counselor. Those things are so important. Or just doing something that's fun. Next week, I have 2 lunch dates with my friends. I am so excited about that. I like traveling. So I love planning just travel days. That's fun to me. So really carving out that time for you to do whatever it is that you want to do that's just for you. Another thing you want to think about and consider is some all or nothing thinking. In the weight loss journey or the habit change journey, if you feel like in your process that if I'm not doing these 10 things that I decided is what's going to make me lose weight, if I falter on one, throw the whole thing away. No, no. I can tell you I've lost 100 pounds and been able to maintain that. And I have been right now, I'm probably about 50% right. And I say right in air quotes because what is right? This is all a journey. You are just doing your best. I think of things as some things that are helping to promote the future version of yourself and some that might not be leading you towards where you want to go, but you just want it. Eating fast food, I eat Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. Would I eat a Chick-fil-A? Is that moving me towards my goal? No. Do I eat it once a week? Yes. Why? Because I want it. Because I don't want to live in deprivation. Do I make sure I'm eating vegetables and I have a solid foundation for the rest of the week? Absolutely. But I will eat my Chick-fil-A chicken strips. But I think one thing is really just having some kind of, these are my foundational things that I do for myself. One, making sure you're drinking water. You're moving your body in some kind of way. You're eating vegetables with at least 2 of your meals and sleeping. If that is your core foundation, some days you're going to do great with all of those. You're going to be able to complete those tasks very easily. Sometimes you're going to just do those bare minimum. So making sure you create that foundation is so very important because stress is going to happen. Something's going to happen that's going to take your attention. But going back to what I said before, creating that space that's just for you, having those foundational principles that you and foundational tasks and habits that you're going to do for yourself, so very important. So when the stress does happen, you've already had those foundational habits that you're going to do. So regardless of where your attention gets pulled, you're going to make sure you have water for yourself. You're going to make sure that even if your movement is just walking around the house a little bit more. Okay, check, done. Vegetables, well, those vegetables have already been prepped earlier in the week. So I just have to put those on my plate. I might be eating some other stuff, some fried chicken or whatever with it, but I got vegetables on the plate. Sleep, all these things are happening. Somebody needs me to do something, but I need to make sure that I'm prioritizing my sleep. That's important. So when you have that foundation, regardless of what happens around you, you're able to make adjustments because you know at your core, this is what I need for me. And I value myself enough to give myself those things and do those healthy habits so that I can continue to show up for these other people in the way that I want to. Because I continue to want to show up for my clients, for my family, for my friends, but I know that I have to nourish me in order to fully be present for them. Not the tired version, not the sad version, not the hungry version, not the one that feels resentful. I want to show up for my family and friends happy. I want to show up for them full. I want to show up for them eager and curious about what's going on and able to help. And in order for me to do that, I have to make that time for me. And I have to make sure that I am listening to myself when I have certain thoughts that aren't serving me anymore. So another mental thought or mental block is just our self-critical way that we think of ourselves. I could even think of one right now. So before I did this talk, like I said before, I was on a walk. I have on a t-shirt under this. But I said, you know what? I can't do a talk with this t-shirt on. Let me put on a sweater because that looks more professional. No one will listen to me with a t-shirt on. I don't care what I'm wearing. Hopefully, if you do, oh well. But just that, I listen to that and I bring it back up because I'm like, oh my goodness, I was going to change my whole outfit, do my hair, do all this stuff. No, if I stop to do all those things, I'm not going to come on here to finish this talk. So really slowing down to listen when you are being critical of you, when you're sitting down to eat and there might be something on your plate that you think isn't the best thing. Oh, this is the most terrible thing I'm eating. Well, let's not fight ourselves. We have the rest of the world telling us all the things that are wrong. Can you look at your plate and see if there's anything good? If there are things on your plate that you feel like you need to adjust, add it. If this meal isn't the best meal, okay, this isn't the best meal I've ever had, but it is what it is. I have 2 other meals in the day that were great. I have several more meals the rest of the week. What can I learn from the experience? Not, I'm a failure. I'm never going to meet my weight loss goals. No. What can I learn? How can I better prepare for my meals so that I'm not just eating on the fly? It's really taking every experience and learning from it versus now I got to beat myself up because everything did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And then another mental block or thought is that, oh, I only eat a certain way. So I am a very Southern girl. I don't know if you can hear from the accent, it comes out occasionally. But I am from Valdosta, Georgia. I was raised on very soul food, fried foods, just decadent deliciousness, macaroni and cheese. That is me. And one thing that blocked me in my journey was the thought that, oh, I don't eat squash. I don't eat zucchini, spinach, gross. Cucumbers, green things. I don't eat that. Other people eat that. I don't eat that. Wrong. When you are on a journey to learn about yourself, curiosity and openness will help you along the way. So for me, I literally had to learn and introduce myself to new foods. I kept saying, oh, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. Well, when was the last time I actually ate those things? Never. I remember one time I literally said, I don't eat spinach. And then I thought, well, when was the last time I ate spinach? I literally had never eaten spinach. But I had run the script in my head for so long that I didn't eat spinach And I just told myself I didn't like it, but I never actually had it. So for a good couple years, I was just trying different foods. Brussels sprouts, tried it. Cauliflower, tried it. They're not bad. Am I a vegetarian? Absolutely not. But I know how to incorporate a lot of those foods on my plate. I still love my green beans and greens. I'm pretty much eating that as my staple every single day. But part of my growth was expanding my palate. And I had to teach my tongue and my body that I could eat other things and still feel nourished. That is so very important. Can you all think of any other mental blocks or mental thoughts? These are just some things that came up during my walk that I wanted to make sure I shared with my group. But anything else come up, leave it in the comments or send me an email or message and we can discuss it. Have a great day.